Music world in Southern California mourning the death of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. His family announced today he has died at the age of 82. Wilson and the Beach Boys introduced the rest of the country to kind of the cool coastal culture of Southern California in the early 1960s. And with us now to talk about Brian Wilson's legacy is Seth Schachner, former Sony music executive and founder of the media consulting company Strat Americas. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here. This is a sad day for sure.
Absolutely. I am of a mind that Pet Sounds is one of the greatest albums ever recorded, certainly in the 20th century, maybe the 21st as well. But, you know, looking back at that period of music, very heady creativity was going on. You had the Beatles coming out with Revolver, and the Beach Boys saw that, came out with Pet Sounds, and the Beatles saw Pet Sounds and came out with Sgt. Pepper's, and back and forth it went. Was that more competition or was it inspiration?
I think, it's just thinking about Brian Wilson and his legacy in the band and obviously all the artists you're mentioning, it's a hard topic to talk about just because these are like enormously creative giants, and I think great artists emulate one another. No one owns chords, and I think they can certainly be inspirations to each other. We sometimes hear about it more publicly when an artist sues over something that sounds like it. But this was an artist that endured lots of personal pain, within his own family, and that's been pretty well documented. Certainly mental illness, very tough mental illness issues, which he really struggled with, and drugs as well, which were clearly part of the life. And how do I put this? But sometimes this combination leads to art that rises above others. I'm trying to put this in a way that's gentle and authentic. And I think some of those things were enormously influential to other artists, certainly like the Beatles. And I'm from a different generation, but the influence goes out even to current artists. REM, Weezer, tons of others throughout lots of different genres, not just rock but pop. And the guy was an absolute genius creatively for sure. And so I don't know if it was competition or if it was creativity, or if it was all the above, but for sure that legacy is mixed amongst lots of artists.
How many people are alive in Southern California today because their parents were listening to the Beach Boys?
I mean, I'm sure
and got together.
It's a great question. I mean, not just from SoCal. I mean, for sure, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think artists of this era, that's the California sound, right? And this was maybe the progenitor of it all, you know what I mean? And they had enormous influence, not just in Cal. I grew up in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And I was just thinking before we got on, like some of my memories growing up, some of the best were like infused with the Beach Boys. They play on the mall in front of the Washington Monument every July 4th when I was growing up. And frankly, everyone would go. There isn't someone under the sun that I know that didn't like the Beach Boys in some way. They were really representative of California and very, very, very American for sure. So enormous influence, and whatever one's politics are, I think it's clearly bound up in like some type of American musical identity as well,
Seth Schachner, former Sony music executive, founder of the media consulting firm Strat Americas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.